Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Louise Nichols, I'm a textile artist and I live in Cornwall. And today I'm going to be showing you the next few steps that go towards making a kit. Now I'd started unpacking this order and then I thought I really ought to film this little bit. So, so all the stitch diagrams and the felt diagrams and that kind of thing all go to a company called Docs Direct, I think it is. Yeah, Docs Direct, and to be printed. Now we used to print it all ourselves. We've got a printer in the office, but actually it's less expensive and quicker to have it printed elsewhere. So last week I spent the best part of a day sat typing out all the instructions and doing the photographs. Now it took me longer than normal because there were 4. Once I'd got all the instructions written out, it was then just a matter of replacing all the images with the correct season, but that all took quite a while. So the booklets are in here, so I'm going to unpack them and show them to you. So they all come nicely wrapped in paper. And then these are the booklets, which are looking really nice. So that should be all of the seasons. I'll double check them properly in a bit, but also I might have to tip this out because it's heavy. Oh, that's a bit ripped, to make sure there's no damage to the sheets there. I'm sure there won't be. Right. So then this is how all the stitch diagrams and felt diagrams come. So I've had lots and lots of things all printed, not just for the landscape, because I've got a few other new kits coming out, but here's the felt diagram for the landscape and the stitch diagram as well. So they're looking really good. So there's quite a lot of those. So today is Sunday, so I've got 3 days before setup day for Craft for Crafters, which is what I'm trying to get these all ready for. So I've got an awful lot to do. I'm hoping this video will go out before Craft for Crafters, but yeah, I've got an awful lot to do before Wednesday. So my apologies if it doesn't come out until the beginning of next week. Anyway, okay, so yeah. So this is my felt diagram so far. So this was a copy taken from the stitch diagram in the previous video. And what this is going to show is where all these bits of felt go. And there will be some felt templates that go into the kit as well, which I haven't shown you yet. That will come later on in the video. And they will all be labelled, and that will relate to what the information that I'm going to put on this sheet now. And also I'm going to give all the trees and hills letters, because there are so many different sections in this. It will just make it easier in the instructions if everything's labelled. So with a pencil on here, I've just made a note of the numbers of the bits of felt that are going on there, and also the letters that I'm going to give the trees and the hills. And then I've got one of these stamp kits, and I'm going to use a black ink pad and I'm going to stamp those on. I'm going to do the letters first. No, I'm not. I'm going to do the numbers first, and then I may just write the letters in by hand. We'll see. Okay, so where's number 1? Now, and the way I've worked it out, let me just explain that to you as well. So usually felt A, so there are 3 different colours of felt in this. So colour A is usually the felt that there's the most of. So in this case, it's the dark green here. And then I've gone for B as being the yellow felt, and C is this kind of stony colour here. And so because the green is A, I'm going to start with number 1 on one of those pieces of green felt. I hope that made sense. Okay, so use my number 1 stamp, so that goes just there. Now also this goes, there are quite a lot of pieces of felt, so it goes up to 15, I think is the 14, 15, yeah, 15. So I also need number 1s in those. So I'm just going to stamp those as well. 14 in there. 15, where are we? 10. So that will need a 1, won't it? And so will 11. And so will 12. I think that's it. Just get a little bit of, I just use a little bit of kitchen roll. Right, and then being very careful not to put my hand on the paper because I don't want to smudge what I've just done. I'm now going to stamp the number 2. And I also need that in the 12, which is there. So I'll carry on doing these until all my numbers are stamped in. Okay, so they're all done. And you saw there, completely forgot 11 has 2 1s in it, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm not going to do anything else on that at the moment. I'm going to just let that dry. I think I will draw in the letters by hand, but I'm not rubbing any pencil lines out or adding any letters until that's dried off a little bit. Now, also in a kit, I put the pieces of felt when it's a complete kit. And so I make myself a little template to cut around when I'm cutting out those pieces of felt to go into the kit. So I'm just going to show you now how I work that out as well. So this is going back to my original tracing here, because this will just give me a good idea. So I'm looking at felt A, so that's the dark green. So what I'm doing is I'm just only very quickly and giving sort of a bit of space around the outside, because although when I cut my felt out, I would get as many out of a small piece as possible. I know not everybody does that. So I want to give people plenty of felt. So I'm going to draw that shape in there. So that's those leaves there. Then there's this section here. So let's add that one in there. And then you've got these 2 lines here. So I think what I'll do is draw that in there, and that one will actually fit under there. So I can see from that if I give you a piece of felt that's that size there, there's plenty of space to cut out all of those shapes that you've got. So will that fit onto there? Yes, it will. So let me get my paper scissors. So I'm just going to cut this down here. And it's about that deep, so cut that piece off there. So that's the size of felt, so I'll use that as my template, and so that in case it goes astray and I know what it is, I'm just going to write on it. So it's landscape and it's felt A, and I'll do the same for B and C. Okay, so there are all my templates now, so I know how much felt to cut out to put in the kit to give you plenty of felt to use. And of course you can always add extra bits of felt if you want to. This is dry enough now for me to write on. I'm not rubbing any pencil out still, but I'm just going to write those letters in now. So I can refer to them in the instructions, which I think I'm probably going to do tomorrow. And what I do when I'm doing my instructions, I have my felt diagram, my stitch diagram, my numbered threads, all in front of me. Oh, I've already got F there, look. Hang on. A, B, C, D, E, F. So that will be, oh no, G, H, I, J. This will be K, won't it? I think I wasn't going to give this one a letter, but then I decided it needed one. Okay, so again, I'll leave that to dry. But yes, I was saying, wasn't I? I have everything in front of me. I have my numbered threads, stitch diagram, felt diagram, as well as the stitch piece, all there, so that as I'm typing out the instructions, I'm double crossing, cross-referencing everything to make sure that when I've said that you use thread 1, you do actually use thread 1. And hopefully then there won't be any mistakes, although it has been known. Okay, right, so I'm going to leave that to dry now, and then I'll just rub out the pencil lines. So the next thing I want to tell you about are the threads that go into the kit. So I make all my own thread holders. I mean, they're simple to make. That made it sound as if it was a really difficult thing to do, didn't it? So I use recycled board or card, and then I cut all my thread holders down to size. So obviously, depending how many threads going into the kit, depends how big the thread holders are. So you can see here, this is my kind of template now. And I've written on it landscape sample so that I know, and I've got 10 slots because there are 10 colours in this landscape. And then from there, I draw them out, cut them out, and then I will hold this at the side and then snip down so that I get all those little where the thread goes into, so it holds the thread as I'm winding it on. Got a little stamp that says obviously it says threads at the top, and then these, I've done the spring ones already. Move that out of the way, hang on. So these are all my spring ones. So I've done 10. I usually do 10 or 12 usually to start off with, depending on whether I have orders for a new kit or whatever. Sometimes I'll work on 20, but this time I've done 10. So you can see they're not numbered yet. So that's what I'm going to start doing now. And I always give you at least an extra metre of thread, if not a little bit more. So if it gets knotted or you make a mistake, you've got a little bit of extra thread. So once I've done this, then I'll number them. I don't number them first because sometimes I used to do, but then I'd find that I might have, the number might be a bit sort of hidden by some of the thread, so I find it easier to number them once I have wound all the threads on. So I'll just work on these. What have I got there? 5, 6. Let's do 6. If I actually know, I'm going to do all 10. What's the point in only doing 5 or 6? So obviously some of these will be off screen. So what, that's 6, 7, 8, and then there'll be 2 sort of up here out the way. I like to have my board underneath with this as well, so I've got something really firm to lean on. And in fact, actually what I'm going to do, those 2 that I've put up in that top corner, I'm actually going to bring to the side and have them here, so I can just do one sort of long run all the way across. So let's bring those down and put them there. Okay, so I use my stamps again for this. And I need to always make sure that I am stamping the correct numbers, because in some of the kits, thread number 1 is a reel of thread. So when the wound threads begin at thread number 2. But in this case, this is thread number 1. So I'm starting with number 1, and I don't use my black. I've got this lovely smoky grey ink that I use for this one. So number 1, so I'll be starting off screen, but you'll see as I'm coming across, I just stamp number 1 at the top on all these holders, and I'll just carry on until I'm right down to number 10. And because 10's got a 1 in it, I'm going to stamp the 10 as well, the 1 for the 10 at this point now. I don't know if you can see that, actually it's a little bit low, isn't it? You see there, I've started stamping the number 1s at the bottom, ready for the 10. So I'm going to stamp all of these now. So there we go, that's all the thread holders stamped with their numbers on now. So they're actually ready to go into the kits. And I'll do this, as with everything, I'll do this with all the other 3 colourways. So one of the other components of the kit is the felt templates. So I draw these out. I trace them through a window using the window like a light box, and these are all the shapes then that you need to cut out. And there's a piece of tracing paper in the kit as well, and then this refers to the place on the stitch diagram. So all the numbers on here correspond to the numbers on here. And that also goes in the kit. So that's something else that's been done. And also, I did tell you a little fib. I said about the stitch sheet, didn't I, that is always included in the kit, which it always used to be. But now, because I do these booklets now with all the diagrams and the stitches in there, I don't put a stitch sheet in. So I'd completely forgotten about that when I was talking on one of the previous videos. So just to confirm, if you buy a kit, there won't be a stitch sheet in there because it's all included in the booklet now. Graham's done my labels as well. So there's always a front and a back label. So the front label just tells you the size and the a little bit of detail and obviously an image, and then the back one tells you what's included in the kit and what you have to provide yourself. And there's also the measurement on the back as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a little video now of putting a kit together. Now, I can't do the spring one because I have actually sold out of spring ones already. I'm talking to you after West Point. I was very, very busy leading up to West Point. I think I said that in the previous video, didn't I? So busy. I just didn't get a chance to do it. And then I took a few days off last week just to get my head back. When you've been talking to people all day, it's so lovely chatting to everybody. But gosh, I do feel tired when it's over. So had a few days off, and then I've been at cowslip workshops over the weekend, running 2 different workshops there. So I had that to get ready for as well. So it is now not the week after West Point, but the week after the week. Oh dear. Anyway, so I'm going to now just do a little video of to show you me just sort of packing all the kit, but I'm going to do the summer kit. Okay, so there's your stitch diagram, your felt diagram, and your colour image. Nice big colour image so that you get a really good, you can get see some good detail on there. Your felt templates, there's your little bit of tracing paper. Then we have the print with some interfacing to iron on the back. The booklet, the felt that's all been labelled, and your your threads there. Little bit of tissue. And then I'm just going to shut the box. This box has got a couple of tabs on it. And there we go. There's the label on the front and the label on the back that shows you. I have done these kits a little bit, they're a little bit different to some of the previous kits, because I'd always included wadding and loops for making, you know, if you're going to make it into a hanging, and backing fabric as well. But quite often I know they go into frames. So just to keep the cost down, and it saves me a little bit of time, I'm not going to be including wadding and hoops and things on any, not for in any foreseeable kits anyway. I just think, you know, you've probably, if you're a stitching lady, you've probably got wadding and some fabric to go on the back anyway, if you want to make it into that type of hanging. So I'm not going to be putting that into kits now. What I am going to do is to do a video within the next few weeks of how to apply the prints onto various things. So I'm going to show how I put them onto my cushions, how I make them into a hanging, how I might put it into a frame, that sort of thing. So that would just give you a bit of a guide if you're buying a kit as to how you can make it into the various different things. Okay, so that is the end of the Designing a Kit from Scratch series. I think I probably started it about a year ago, didn't I? So thank you so much if you've stayed with me all the way through. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the next video is going to be, but as I say, I will be doing one about making into various items. As always, thank you very, very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I've had quite a few new subscribers actually recently, so thank you so much for joining us, joining me as well. Yeah, I think it's great, so thank you very much, and see you next time.